Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world, you are now tuned in to AQuickThought, a channel centered around growth, evolution, deep, profound insight, and fundamentally unconventional ideas, unconventional thought. And so, if the prospect of that piques your interest, do stick around. And again, if you are still yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly do so. For that's the only way this channel can come to grow and reach the people that it needs to reach. Meaning, the people that need it. And so let's not be selfish now. With that out of the way, I've made a rather profound realization. And this realization pertains to language, or rather our use of language. We say certain things, not because we mean them, but because of how they are conventionally applied. And for most of us, certain words are only utilized for the sake of convenience. Meaning, some people might utter the words "I love you," not because they actually love someone, but because of the convenience that loving or telling that person, that particular person, that they love them affords them. It affords them a certain level of convenience. And so this is a rather selfish way of being. And of course, it didn't just come about by accident. It's just the way things are. It's convention. Hence, I can't say I resonate with most conventional things. That's probably why I took it upon myself to start this channel. I guess you could say I'm doing it for fun. The fun of being. The fun of being which is derived from living truthfully, which is not something that I've always been privileged to experience. And that was only so because, one, I didn't know better, and two, I didn't have to know. I just didn't know that. Instead, I filled up my mind with these conventional ideas that are so limiting because they are merely abstractions. Abstractions which are derived from, dissections. Dissections of reality. Not reality in its absolute form, but reality as an individual experience. That's to say, someone was walking around and decided to name something a certain word, and people agreed upon that naming, and so we came to identify with that thing. Whether the thing is an actual object or a way of being or an attitude or a certain approach makes no difference really, because it's all limitation. You see, it's good to have the capacity or the capability to identify things, but not for the sake of identification, just for recognition. And let's keep it at that. Let's not make things which are not us and turn them into a crutch for our sense of being, because we are merely lying to ourselves. And most people have become so comfortable with lies that they repel truth. They despise truth. They avoid it, intentionally so, because it disrupts their illusion. And to such people, what I would like to say is this: truth will set you free from the prison of mind. For that's the most subtlest prison ever known to mankind. Because you won't even realize that you are in a prison. You will just think that things are normal. And so we normalize crap, bullshit. Which is fine. I mean, the only damage that we ever do in truth is to ourselves. And so if you affect others, if you affect other people, I meant to say, negatively, it's only because those people were willing to allow you to affect them. But let's say, for example, someone like me, someone who has made it his responsibility to conduct the way he chooses to experience himself, then negativity amounts to amusement. And not in a sense of looking down on anyone. I don't know, it's kind of like baffling, seeing things or seeing people do things which are irrational, just for the sake of belonging. Belonging which is rooted in lies. What's the point? Because lies, the fundamental aspect of the experience behind the word lie is simply not being real or unreality. That's what lie, the word lie, amounts to. That which is not real. And so, why do we protect such triviality? Because it's futile, really. The truth is absolute. The truth doesn't go anywhere. Although you might fool yourself, you might believe, or you might make yourself believe that the truth is not what it is, that reality is a mistake, and therefore your version of reality is the truth. Then you are in for one rude awakening. It's only a matter of time and situation. And so there's one phrase in particular that I want to tackle, or rather, okay, here's the point. The point is not to get lost in the words. Language is symbolic. Let's understand that. Language is not reality. And so whatever you think of reality, or if you think life as opposed to experiencing life, then you're probably not living life. For words, like I said, are not reality, only a symbol of reality verbalized, right? And even so, most people misunderstand certain words. Like, for example, one might be attached to someone for certain reasons, for conditional reasons, right? Which causes attachment. That's when you hear people say, I love you, because there's emotions involved. But those emotions are there to keep the sense of attachment intact. But we don't read into that. We rather believe what the mind makes up and go with the flow of I love until the conditions change, until the situation is different, until we deem it not convenient for us to keep saying the words I love. That's when truth comes out to play and things ultimately change. They don't necessarily change. It's just that truth begins to blossom. And what was always there comes to bear fruit. And in most cases, the fruit is rather bitter. Because intention was bitter in the first place. It was selfish. And so that's the danger of misunderstanding symbols. The symbols, which in this context are language. Language is merely symbol. It's not reality. It's a means of communication. But if communication is rooted in lies, then what's the point? Because everything that is gained through lies will surely come to an end, a bitter end at that. For karma always comes to collect. That's just the flow of nature, the flow of time, the flow of life, which is fair to all. And discriminates against none. We are all equal in the eyes of God, of the universe, and whatnot. Whatever you want to call it, okay, it's fine. It doesn't matter. What matters is the reality. What matters is truth. For nothing outside of truth bears its own existence. Everything which is rooted in lies needs truth to make itself look alive. And most people don't see lies because they don't pay enough attention. Kind of like people who wear masks. It's not that after a time, after a prolonged period of time, only then does the mask fall off. No, it does every day, constantly. It's just that we are often too in our heads to realize. But if you are about to embracing experience, that's to say, if you are paying attention to life in general, because you are life, then you will see all that you are meant to see. It's basically like saying, the deeper you go within, the further you can see. So if you know the nature of self, you will come to see things which are not aligned with reality. They will stand out. You won't be able to miss them. And I understand that for most of us, that's unbearable. But like I said, what's the point of living a lie? For truth is not going anywhere. The lie is only happening within your mind. And the mind acts as a prison. A comfortable prison. It has to be comfortable. Otherwise, you wouldn't give in to it. You wouldn't stay subservient to it. You wouldn't go off impulse. Which leads to the main phrase of this video, and then I close it. There's this saying that one ought to follow the heart. And just so you know, I agree with that. But then again, we must be careful as far as language is concerned. It's symbolic, like I outlined. Here's the thing. There's always two sides to a story. Man, woman, female, male, dark, light. You know how it goes. Feminine, masculine. And so, with regards to the phrase, follow your heart, I just want to outline the fact that there's two forms of heart. The first being the impulsive nature of heart. the one that's toxified by mind. And the other aspect of heart is spontaneous heart, the one that's natural, the one that's aligned to reality, aligned with reality, the one that purely reflects reality, reflects truth, the one that's not so anxious, as opposed to the impulsive way of being, which basically entails the fact that the mind has somehow hijacked the heart. And so you are basically giving life to the mental movies which exist within your mind that are merely a byproduct of experiential impression. That's to say, things that you've went through. Your trauma, basically. Everything is trauma. All experience is trauma. The difference lies merely in degree. Some trauma is pleasurable, hence we also remember the good things. You see what I did there? I just proved that language is not really absolute. It could mean anything, but what is constant is reality. And so, if language is aligned to reality, then it serves life. Life which is potential, and potential is supposed to flow, because the flow of potential does amount to reality. Or at least it's the process of reality. And so do follow your heart, but not the impulsive nature of heart, but rather the spontaneous aspect of heart, which basically boils down to one living truthfully beyond mind, outside of the illusion of comfort, which stems from one lying to oneself. And with that being said, looking at the time, I must conclude this video. I trust that you will derive some value from this. Doesn't have to be the whole thing. You don't have to agree with all that I say, but let your source of self be the judge, and don't judge mentally, for that forms the basis of the mental prison, and we don't need that. Look where it's got us. Yeah, it's got us pretty far in terms of innovation, but the mind can only get you so far. Pure experience is the goal. Pure experience, which is basically enjoyment of life, irrespective of situation. And with that being said, my beautiful friend, love and light. Until next time, cheers.